Chapter 1. A Girl with a Dream. Jackie Bouvier was born on a warm summer day in July 1929 in Southampton, New York. Her full name was Jacqueline Lee Bouvier, but everyone called her Jackie. She had big, curious eyes and a smile that lit up every room she entered. From a young age, Jackie was different. She loved to read, often disappearing into a corner with a book while other children played. Books were her escape, her window to other worlds. She dreamed of adventure, of faraway places and beautiful things. Little did she know, she would grow up to live a life more exciting than any story she had ever read. Jackie's family was wealthy, but life wasn't always perfect. Her parents, John and Janet Bouvier, divorced when she was just a young girl. It was a difficult time for Jackie and her younger sister, Lee. Their father, known as Black Jack because of his dark looks and charm, adored Jackie. He called her his little princess and made her feel special. But his relationship with her mother was often troubled, and their separation left a mark on Jackie. Despite this, she learned to stay strong, showing grace and determination even as a child. Jackie grew up in a world of elegance and beauty. Her mother, Janet, loved horses and taught Jackie how to ride. Jackie became an excellent equestrian, winning competitions and impressing everyone with her skill. She also developed a love for art, visiting museums with her family and sketching in her notebooks. Jackie had an eye for detail. She noticed the way the light fell on a painting or the patterns on a dress. This attention to beauty would become a defining part of her life. Education was very important to Jackie. She attended some of the best schools, including Miss Porter's school in Connecticut. There, she learned about literature, history, and languages. Jackie was smart and curious, always asking questions and seeking new knowledge. She later studied at Vassar College before spending a year in Paris. That year changed her life. In France, Jackie fell in love with French culture, art, and fashion. She learned to speak fluent French and developed her signature sense of style, chic, simple, and timeless. Paris taught Jackie that elegance wasn't just about clothes. It was about how you carried yourself, how you spoke, and how you treated others. When Jackie returned to the United States, she transferred to George Washington University in Washington, D.C. She graduated in 1951 with a degree in French literature. But Jackie wasn't just a student. She was also a writer. After college, she worked as a journalist, writing for the Washington Times-Herald. Her job was to ask people on the street interesting questions and write about their answers. Jackie's sharp mind and charming personality made her a natural interviewer. She was curious about people and had a way of making them open up. Her career as a journalist showed that she wasn't just a pretty face. She was intelligent, hardworking, and ambitious. It was during her time as a journalist that Jackie met John F. Kennedy. He was a young senator from Massachusetts with big dreams of becoming president. Jackie and John were introduced at a dinner party, and there was an instant connection. He was captivated by her beauty and intelligence, and she was impressed by his charm and ambition. Their relationship wasn't always easy. John was busy with politics, and Jackie was careful about whom she trusted. But in 1953, they got married in a grand ceremony in Newport, Rhode Island. Jackie wore a beautiful ivory silk dress with a long veil, looking every bit like a fairy tale bride. Jackie's life changed dramatically after she became Mrs. Kennedy. As the wife of a senator, she had to attend political events, meet important people, and always look perfect. But Jackie wasn't just a political wife. She had her own passions and interests. She loved art and culture and often used her position to promote them. When John ran for president in 1960, Jackie supported him wholeheartedly, even though she was pregnant with their second child. She gave interviews, wrote letters, and charmed voters with her grace and intelligence. In 1961, John F. Kennedy became the 35th President of the United States, and Jackie became the First Lady. At just 31 years old, she was one of the youngest First Ladies in American history. People all over the world were fascinated by her. She had a unique style that combined elegance with simplicity. She wore dresses with clean lines, gloves, pearls, and her signature pillbox hats. Jackie didn't follow trends. She created them. Women everywhere wanted to dress like her, and designers admired her ability to make even the simplest outfit look extraordinary. But Jackie's role as First Lady was about more than just fashion. She brought a sense of culture and sophistication to the White House. She renovated the historic building, filling it with beautiful art and furniture that reflected America's history. She gave a famous television tour of the White House, showing the world the changes she had made. Jackie wanted the White House to be more than just a home for the president. It was a symbol of the nation's pride and heritage. Jackie also used her position to support important causes. She loved children and worked to improve education and the arts. She hosted concerts, invited famous artists and writers to the White House, and even traveled to other countries as a cultural ambassador. Everywhere she went, people admired her elegance and intelligence. She wasn't just a first lady. She was a role model. But life wasn't always glamorous for Jackie. In 1963, tragedy struck when her husband was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. Jackie was by his side when it happened, wearing her famous pink suit. The world watched as she stood strong in the face of unimaginable loss. Her courage and dignity during that time inspired millions of people. Even in her darkest moments, Jackie remained graceful, showing the world what it meant to be resilient. After leaving the White House, Jackie focused on raising her two children, Caroline and John Jr. She also found a new passion, editing books. Jackie worked for publishing companies in New York, helping authors create beautiful stories. Her love for literature had come full circle, proving that her mind was just as remarkable as her style. Jackie's life wasn't perfect, but it was extraordinary. She faced challenges with courage and turned every opportunity into a chance to make the world more beautiful. Whether through her fashion, her love for art, or her dedication to her family, Jackie Kennedy left a legacy that continues to inspire us today. She showed that elegance isn't just about how you look, it's about how you live. And Jackie lived her life with grace, passion, and an unshakable belief in the power of beauty. Chapter 2. Meeting John F. Kennedy. It was a warm spring evening when Jackie met John F. Kennedy for the first time. The setting was perfect, an elegant dinner party in Washington, D.C., filled with laughter, conversation, and the sparkle of chandeliers. Jackie, with her dark, expressive eyes and charming smile, caught everyone's attention. She wore a simple yet sophisticated dress, her style as graceful as ever. Among the many guests that evening was a young senator from Massachusetts, John Fitzgerald Kennedy. He was tall, with striking features and an energy that seemed to fill the room. Their meeting was brief, but something clicked. It was as if two worlds had quietly begun to merge. At the time, Jackie was working as a journalist for the Washington Times-Herald. Her job was exciting. She interviewed people on the streets, asking clever questions and writing about their answers. Jackie loved her work. It allowed her to explore the city, meet interesting people, and use her sharp mind. She was fiercely independent and wasn't looking to fall in love. But when John asked her out on a date, she couldn't say no. There was something about him, his charm, his ambition, his vision for the future. It intrigued her, and she wanted to know more. Their first few dates were magical. John had a way of making her laugh with his witty jokes and stories. He was curious about her, too. He admired her intelligence, her love for books, and her passion for art and culture. Jackie felt seen and understood in a way she hadn't before. But being with John wasn't always easy. He was deeply involved in politics, and his career came with a lot of pressure. Jackie often found herself waiting for his phone calls, waiting for him to finish meetings, waiting to understand where she fit into his busy world. As their relationship grew, Jackie began to see the challenges that came with loving a man like John. He was ambitious, determined to make a difference in the world, and that often meant putting his work first. For someone like Jackie, who valued her independence and had her own dreams, this wasn't always easy. She had to find a balance between supporting John's ambitions and staying true to herself. It was a delicate dance, one that required patience, understanding, and compromise. In 1953, John proposed to Jackie, and she said yes. Their engagement made headlines. He was a rising star in American politics, and she was the beautiful and intelligent woman by his side. Their wedding, held in Newport, Rhode Island, was a grand affair. Jackie wore a stunning ivory silk gown, and John looked dashing in his suit. The ceremony was attended by hundreds of guests, including many powerful figures from the world of politics. It was a picture-perfect day, but it also marked the beginning of a new chapter in Jackie's life, one that would test her strength, resilience, and grace. Becoming Mrs. Kennedy was both exciting and overwhelming. Jackie quickly learned that being married to a politician was like stepping into the spotlight. Everywhere they went, cameras followed. People wanted to know what she was wearing, what she was thinking, and how she was adjusting to her new role. Jackie handled it all with poise, But inside, she sometimes felt the weight of it all. She loved John deeply, but his world was demanding, and she often had to sacrifice her own desires to support him. Despite the challenges, Jackie found ways to make her mark. She continued to pursue her love for art and culture, often attending exhibitions and supporting young artists. She also began to develop her own sense of style, one that would soon captivate the world. Jackie understood that fashion wasn't just about clothes. It was a form of expression, a way to communicate who she was and what she believed in. Her outfits were always carefully chosen, reflecting her elegance and sophistication. As John's political career advanced, Jackie became more involved in his work. She attended campaign events, charmed voters with her warm smile, and stood by his side as he delivered speeches. People admired her for her intelligence and grace, and she quickly became a favorite among the public. But life in the political world wasn't without its difficulties. Jackie often had to deal with scrutiny, rumors, and the constant pressure to appear perfect. It wasn't always easy, but she faced it all with dignity. In 1960, John decided to run for president. It was a bold move, and Jackie knew it would change their lives forever. She was pregnant with their second child at the time, but she didn't let that stop her from supporting him. She gave interviews, wrote letters, and even appeared in campaign advertisements. Jackie's presence added a sense of warmth and charm to John's campaign, and many believed she played a key role in his success. When John won the election, Jackie was overjoyed, but she also knew that life as the First Lady would come with its own set of challenges. In 1961, John F. Kennedy was inaugurated as the 35th President of the United States, and Jackie became the First Lady. She was just 31 years old, making her one of the youngest First Ladies in history. The world watched as she stepped into this new role with grace and confidence. Jackie was determined to use her position to make a difference. She wasn't content to simply stand in the background. She wanted to leave her mark on the White House and the country. Jackie's early days as First Lady were a whirlwind. She began by renovating the White House, transforming it into a space that reflected the history and culture of America. She brought in beautiful art and furniture, making sure every detail was perfect. Jackie also hosted cultural events, inviting artists, writers, and musicians to share their work. She believed that the White House should be a place where ideas and creativity thrived. But Jackie's life as First Lady wasn't just about fashion and culture. She also supported important causes, including education and historic preservation. She visited schools, spoke with children, and worked to improve educational opportunities for young people. Jackie's passion for history led her to save many historic buildings that were at risk of being destroyed. She believed in preserving the past for future generations, and her efforts left a lasting impact. Through it all, Jackie remained devoted to her family. She was a loving mother to Caroline and John Jr., always making time for them despite her busy schedule. Her love for her children was evident in everything she did. and she worked hard to create a sense of normalcy for them in the midst of their extraordinary lives. Jackie's journey with John F. Kennedy was filled with joy, challenges, and unforgettable moments. She learned to navigate the complexities of life in the public eye while staying true to herself. Her love for John and her dedication to her family and her causes defined her early years as a Kennedy. Jackie's story was just beginning, and the world was watching, captivated by the woman who would become an icon of elegance, grace, and resilience. Chapter 3. The White House Bride. The day was September 12, 1953, and all of Newport, Rhode Island, was abuzz with excitement. The wedding of Jacqueline Bouvier and John F. Kennedy was no ordinary event. It was a celebration that captured the attention of the nation. Guests arrived in elegant attire, stepping into St. Mary's Church, a grand building filled with flowers and soft light. The pews were packed with family, friends, and political figures, all there to witness the union of a young senator with a promising future and a woman whose charm and grace had already begun to captivate the public. Jackie's entrance was unforgettable. As the organ music swelled, she appeared at the door, radiant and poised. Her wedding dress was a masterpiece, crafted from ivory silk taffeta with a full skirt and a fitted bodice adorned with intricate lace. The veil, made of antique lace, had belonged to her grandmother. It flowed softly behind her, giving her the appearance of a princess stepping out of a storybook. Yet, beneath the breathtaking elegance of her gown, Jackie was much more than a picture-perfect bride. She carried herself with a quiet confidence, a hint of the woman she would become, a symbol of intelligence, resilience, and timeless style. The ceremony was filled with love and promise. As Jackie stood beside John, the two exchanged vows, their words filled with hope for the future. For Jackie, this moment was more than just a marriage. It was the beginning of a new life, one that would require her to step into the public eye and adapt to the demanding world of politics. Jackie had always been a private person, valuing her independence and quiet pursuits, but she knew that life with John would mean sharing her talents and her presence with the world. She was ready to take on the challenge. After the ceremony, the celebration continued at Hammersmith Farm, Jackie's childhood home. The sprawling estate overlooked the ocean, and the reception was as grand as the wedding itself. Guests danced under the stars, sipping champagne and enjoying the sound of a live orchestra. Jackie and John moved gracefully through the crowd, their smiles bright as they greeted friends and family. Photographers captured every moment, their cameras flashing as Jackie became one of the most photographed women of the day. Her natural beauty and elegance shone through in every picture. Jackie's wedding dress, though admired by millions, had an unexpected story behind it. Designed by Anne Lowe, a talented African-American dressmaker, the gown was almost a disaster. 10 days before the wedding, a flood in Lowe's studio ruined the original dress and its backup. In a remarkable feat of skill and determination, Lowe and her team worked tirelessly to recreate the dress in time. Jackie, ever composed, never let the drama show. On her wedding day, she wore the gown with grace, unaware of the challenges that had gone into its making. This moment foreshadowed her ability to handle life's unexpected twists with elegance and strength. Life, as Mrs. Kennedy began, with excitement and change. After a honeymoon in Mexico, Jackie and John settled into their roles as a political power couple. John was already building his career as a senator, and Jackie was by his side, learning how to navigate the complex world of politics. She attended events, met influential figures, and quickly realized that her image mattered as much as her words. Jackie understood the power of fashion and how it could communicate confidence, intelligence, and approachability. She began to cultivate a style that was uniquely her own, one that would soon captivate the world. Jackie's style was not about luxury or excess. It was about simplicity and sophistication. She had an eye for clean lines, well-fitted dresses, and timeless accessories. Her outfits often included pearls, gloves, and tailored coats, each piece chosen with care. Jackie believed that fashion was a reflection of one's personality, and her choices spoke volumes about who she was: intelligent, poised, and effortlessly elegant. It wasn't long before women across America began to emulate her style, seeking to capture a piece of the magic that Jackie seemed to embody so naturally. But Jackie's life was not as effortless as it appeared. Behind the scenes, she faced challenges that tested her strength and resilience. John's political ambitions meant long hours, public scrutiny, and the constant pressure to be perfect. Jackie had to adapt quickly, learning how to handle reporters, balance her personal life with her public role, and support her husband's career while pursuing her own passions. It was not an easy path, but Jackie approached it with determination, always seeking to find her place in a world that demanded so much of her. One of the most significant lessons Jackie learned during these early years was the importance of staying true to herself. While she loved and admired John, she was careful not to lose her own identity in the process. Jackie continued to explore her love for art, history, and literature, often seeking out quiet moments to read or visit museums. She found ways to bring her passions into her new life, using them to enrich her role as a politician's wife. Her intelligence and curiosity became key aspects of her appeal, adding depth to her already striking presence. As John's political career grew, so did Jackie's influence. She became a trusted advisor, offering insights and ideas that often went beyond fashion and appearances. John valued her opinion, recognizing that Jackie's sharp mind and thoughtful perspective could help him connect with people in meaningful ways. Together, they formed a partnership that was built on mutual respect and shared goals. Jackie's role was not just to stand by John's side, but to contribute to his vision for the future. By the time John announced his candidacy for president in 1960, Jackie had already begun to leave her mark. She was more than just a senator's wife. She was a cultural figure, admired for her grace and intelligence. Jackie's ability to navigate the complexities of political life while staying true to her values set her apart. She was not content to be a silent figure in the background. She wanted to make a difference, both in her own life and in the lives of others. Looking back on Jackie's wedding day, it's clear that it was more than just the beginning of a marriage. It was the start of a journey that would take her from the quiet world of her childhood to the grand stage of American politics. Jackie's elegance and style, first showcased on that September day, became symbols of her strength, resilience, and timeless appeal. The world may have seen her as a princess, but Jackie was far more, a woman of intelligence, grace, and determination, ready to face the challenges and opportunities that lay ahead. Chapter 4. The First Lady of Style. In January 1961, Jackie Kennedy stood beside her husband, John F. Kennedy, as he took the oath of office to become the 35th President of the United States. The day was cold, but Jackie's presence warmed the hearts of everyone who saw her. She wore a stunning wool coat with a matching pillbox hat, both in a soft shade of blue. Her outfit was simple yet elegant, and it immediately caught the world's attention. Jackie wasn't just the wife of the new president. She was a vision of modern sophistication, a first lady unlike any the country had seen before. From the moment Jackie stepped into the role of First Lady, she captivated the public. Women admired her style, her grace, and her intelligence. She was different from previous First Ladies, who often dressed conservatively and stayed in the background. Jackie brought a fresh, youthful energy to the White House. Her clothes were modern, her demeanor was charming, and her presence felt like a breath of fresh air. Every time she appeared in public, photographers scrambled to capture her image, and newspapers couldn't stop writing about her. Jackie Kennedy wasn't just a first lady. She was a style icon. Jackie's fashion choices were deliberate and thoughtful. She worked closely with designers to create a look that was uniquely hers. She loved clean lines, bold colors, and timeless silhouettes. Her wardrobe often included dresses with fitted bodices and flared skirts, as well as tailored suits paired with her famous pillbox hats. Jackie understood that simplicity was powerful. Her outfits were never overly complicated, but they always made a statement. Whether she was hosting a state dinner or visiting a school, Jackie's style spoke volumes about her elegance and confidence. But Jackie's impact went beyond her wardrobe. She believed that fashion was a way to express oneself and connect with others. She chose outfits that reflected her personality, graceful, intelligent, and approachable. At the same time, she used her style to send subtle messages. When she visited foreign countries, she often wore clothes inspired by their culture, showing respect and admiration for their traditions. Jackie's fashion choices weren't just about looking good. They were about building bridges and creating a sense of unity. The world took notice of Jackie's style, and soon women everywhere wanted to dress like her. Stores began selling dresses and hats inspired by her look, and magazines offered tips on how to achieve the Jackie Kennedy style. Her influence wasn't limited to America. It spread across the globe. In Paris, Rome, and London, women admired her elegance and sought to emulate her fashion sense. Jackie's ability to set trends was unmatched, and her style became a symbol of sophistication and modernity. However, being the First Lady wasn't just about looking good. Jackie understood that her role came with responsibilities, and she wanted to use her position to make a difference. One of her first major projects as First Lady was the restoration of the White House. When Jackie moved in, she was surprised to find that many of the rooms were plain and lacked historical significance. She believed that the White House should reflect the history and culture of the United States. So she set out to transform it. Jackie worked tirelessly on the restoration project. She researched the history of the White House, studying old photographs and documents to understand how it had looked in the past. She contacted museums and private collectors, asking them to donate furniture, artwork, and other items that would bring the White House back to life. Jackie's goal was to create a space that celebrated America's heritage while also serving as a home for the president's family. Her dedication paid off, and the newly restored White House became a source of pride for the nation. To share the results of her work, Jackie hosted a television tour of the White House in 1962. Millions of Americans tuned in to watch as she guided viewers through the historic building, explaining the significance of each room and its furnishings. Jackie's soft voice and thoughtful explanations made the tour both educational and engaging. For many people, it was their first glimpse inside the White House, and Jackie's efforts to preserve its history were widely praised. The tour was a huge success, and it solidified Jackie's reputation as a First Lady who cared deeply about culture and history. Jackie's contributions didn't stop there. She was passionate about the arts and worked to promote music, literature, and fine art during her time in the White House. She invited famous musicians and performers to play at state dinners, transforming them into unforgettable evenings. She also supported emerging artists, providing them with opportunities to showcase their work. Jackie believed that the arts were an essential part of a nation's identity, and she wanted to ensure they were celebrated and supported. Despite her many achievements, Jackie faced challenges as First Lady. The role came with immense pressure, and every aspect of her life was scrutinized by the public and the media. Critics sometimes accused her of focusing too much on fashion or being too private. But Jackie didn't let the criticism deter her. She stayed true to herself, balancing her public duties with her personal values. Her quiet strength and resilience earned her the admiration of millions. At the heart of Jackie's story was her ability to inspire others. She showed women that elegance wasn't just about clothes, it was about confidence, intelligence, and kindness. Jackie's influence went beyond the surface, touching the hearts and minds of people around the world. She proved that a First Lady could be both a style icon and a champion of important causes. Her legacy as the First Lady of Style was not just about the way she looked, it was about the way she lived. By the end of her first year as First Lady, Jackie had already left a lasting impact. She had redefined the role, showing that it was possible to combine beauty, culture, and substance. Her efforts to restore the White House, promote the arts, and represent America on the world stage were groundbreaking. Jackie Kennedy was more than just a fashionable figure. She was a woman of vision and purpose, determined to make a difference in her own unique way. As the years went on, Jackie's style and influence continued to grow. Her time in the White House was brief, but her legacy as a First Lady of style and grace would endure for decades. Jackie's story was a testament to the power of elegance, not just in fashion, but in life. She showed the world that true style comes from within, and her example continues to inspire people to this day. Chapter 5. A New Era of Fashion. Jackie Kennedy's style was more than just beautiful clothes. It was a reflection of who she was and the message she wanted to share with the world. When she became First Lady in 1961, she brought with her a new vision for American fashion. Jackie believed in simplicity, elegance, and boldness, and she used her wardrobe to express these ideas. Her choices weren't about following trends, but about creating a new standard, one that would inspire change and redefine what it meant to be modern. From the very beginning, Jackie was drawn to French fashion. Her love for clean lines and tailored designs came from her time studying in Paris. She admired the way French designers used minimalism to create timeless beauty. Names like Givenchy, Chanel, and Dior influenced her early wardrobe. And when she became First Lady, she brought that inspiration to America. Jackie loved working with designers who understood her vision, and she often collaborated with Oleg Cassini, a French-born American designer, to create her iconic looks. Jackie's clothes were never overly complicated. She preferred dresses and suits with simple, clean lines. No ruffles, no unnecessary details, just elegance. She often wore bold, solid colors like white, pink, or sky blue, which made her stand out in a crowd. Her choices were deliberate, designed to show strength and confidence. In a world where women were often expected to blend into the background, Jackie stood out, and she did it with grace. One of Jackie's signature looks was the sleeveless sheath dress. It was sleek and modern, yet timeless. She often paired these dresses with pearls or gloves, creating an air of sophistication. Another iconic part of her wardrobe was the pillbox hat. It was simple, round, and perched perfectly on her head, becoming a symbol of her unique style. Women across America rushed to buy pillbox hats, eager to copy Jackie's look. But Jackie's style was about more than just looking good. She understood the power of fashion as a form of communication. Every outfit she wore sent a message. When she met world leaders, she dressed to show respect and strength. During a state visit to France, she wore a gown by French designer Hubert de Givenchy, paying homage to the country's fashion heritage. The French press couldn't stop praising her, calling her La Grande Dame of Style. Jackie's ability to use her wardrobe to build bridges between cultures was remarkable. Her choice of clean lines and bold colors wasn't just about elegance. It was about creating a sense of order and calm. Jackie lived in a world of politics where chaos and pressure were constant. Through her style, she projected a sense of control and confidence. She wanted people to see her as someone who was steady and reliable, yet approachable and warm. Her fashion choices became a way for her to connect with the public, even when words weren't enough. Jackie's love for French fashion wasn't without its critics. Some people believed that the First Lady of the United States should wear only American-made clothes. Jackie listened to these concerns, but she believed in blending the best of both worlds. While she loved working with French designers, she also collaborated with American ones, encouraging them to embrace new ideas and raise their standards. Oleg Cassini became her official designer, creating many of her most famous looks. Under Jackie's influence, American fashion began to evolve, becoming more modern and sophisticated. Behind the glamour of her wardrobe, Jackie's life was full of challenges. Being in the public eye meant constant scrutiny. People analyzed everything she wore, every word she spoke, and every gesture she made. Critics sometimes accused her of focusing too much on fashion instead of politics, but Jackie knew better. She understood that her appearance was part of her role as First Lady. She had to represent America on the world stage, and she wanted to do it with dignity and grace. Her style wasn't just about her, it was about what she stood for. Jackie also faced personal struggles. The pressure of her role, combined with the demands of being a wife and mother, wasn't easy. But through it all, she remained strong, using her love for art and fashion as a way to stay grounded. Jackie often said that beauty was important because it brought joy to life. Her appreciation for art and design was a source of comfort during difficult times, and she used her position to share that beauty with others. One of Jackie's most memorable contributions was her impact on American fashion. Before her time, fashion in the United States was often seen as less sophisticated than in Europe. Jackie changed that. Her influence encouraged designers to innovate and create pieces that were both modern and timeless. Her collaboration with Oleg Cassini showed that American designers could compete on a global stage. Jackie's wardrobe wasn't just a collection of clothes. It was a celebration of creativity and craftsmanship. Jackie's influence didn't stop with her time in the White House. Long after she left, her style continued to inspire. Designers looked to her for ideas, and women around the world embraced the simplicity and elegance she championed. Her approach to fashion, clean lines, bold colors, and timeless silhouettes became a blueprint for modern style. Jackie showed that true elegance comes from confidence, intelligence, and authenticity. Looking back, Jackie's era marked a turning point in fashion. She wasn't just a style icon. She was a symbol of change. Her wardrobe reflected a new way of thinking, one that embraced innovation, creativity, and individuality. Jackie used fashion as a tool to express her values and connect with others, proving that style can be both personal and powerful. Through her love for French design, her collaboration with American designers, and her commitment to simplicity and elegance, Jackie Kennedy reshaped the way the world saw fashion. She inspired a generation to think differently, to value quality over quantity, and to embrace the beauty of being unique. Jackie's legacy as a style icon is more than just the clothes she wore. It's the message she shared, that true beauty comes from within, and that fashion can be a way to create change, build connections, and inspire the world. Before we begin Chapter 6, a quick note for our listeners. You're currently listening to this audiobook on WooEnglish. Remember, this content is specially made for WooEnglish listeners only. If you're hearing it on any other channel, it may be a violation of WooEnglish's rights. Please ensure you're tuned into the right source to fully enjoy and respect this audiobook journey. Now, let's continue the story. Chapter 6. The Power of a Pillbox Hat. Jackie Kennedy's pillbox hat was more than just an accessory. It was a statement. Small, round, and perfectly perched on her head, the hat became a signature part of her look. But how did something so simple become one of the most iconic fashion trends of the 20th century? The story of Jackie and her pillbox hats is one of elegance, charm, and the power of choosing the right details. The pillbox hat first appeared on Jackie's radar when she began collaborating with her favorite designer, Oleg Cassini. Jackie loved clean, simple lines, and the hat's minimalist design fit her aesthetic perfectly. Unlike wide-brimmed or overly decorative hats, the pillbox hat didn't overpower the wearer. It complemented the outfit, drawing attention to the face. For Jackie, it was the perfect choice. It gave her a polished modern look, while still feeling timeless and approachable. The world first took notice of Jackie's pillbox hats during her husband's presidential campaign in 1960. As Jackie attended events, greeted crowds, and supported John's journey to the White House, her style became a topic of conversation. Photographs of Jackie in her tailored suits and matching hats began to fill newspapers and magazines. Women were enchanted by her elegance, and they wanted to look just like her. Suddenly, the pillbox hat was everywhere, appearing in store windows and on the heads of women across America. Jackie's pillbox hat wasn't just fashionable, it was practical too. It was easy to wear and stayed in place, even during windy outdoor events. Unlike large hats that could be difficult to manage, the pillbox hat added just the right amount of sophistication without being fussy. Jackie often paired her hats with simple gloves and pearls, creating a look that was effortlessly chic. Her style seemed attainable, yet special, inspiring countless women to follow her lead. One of the most famous moments involving Jackie's pillbox hat came on January 20th, 1961, the day John F. Kennedy was inaugurated as president. Jackie stood by his side on that cold January morning, wearing a wool coat in a soft blue color with a matching pillbox hat. The outfit was perfectly coordinated, and Jackie looked radiant. As her husband delivered his historic inaugural address, cameras focused on Jackie, capturing her poise and elegance. That moment cemented the pillbox hat as a symbol of Jackie's style and the beginning of a new era in American fashion. But Jackie's pillbox hat wasn't just about style. It also carried meaning. The simplicity of the hat reflected Jackie's belief in the power of understated elegance. She didn't need flashy or extravagant accessories to make an impression. Instead, she showed that beauty could be found in thoughtful, well-chosen details. The hat was a symbol of her confidence, intelligence, and grace, and it helped create an image of a first lady who was both relatable and extraordinary. Behind the scenes, Jackie's fashion choices were often strategic. She understood that her appearance played an important role in shaping public perception. As First Lady, Jackie represented not only herself, but also her husband, her country, and her era. Every outfit she wore, including her pillbox hats, was carefully considered to convey a message of sophistication and modernity. Jackie's style wasn't just about looking good, it was about inspiring confidence and respect. Despite its success, the pillbox hat also had its challenges. Being in the public eye meant that every detail of Jackie's wardrobe was scrutinized. Critics sometimes accused her of being too focused on fashion, claiming that her attention to appearance distracted from her duties as First Lady. But Jackie knew that fashion could be a powerful tool. She used it to connect with people, to create a sense of unity, and to bring a touch of beauty to a world that often felt chaotic. Over time, the pillbox hat became more than just an accessory. It became a part of Jackie's legacy. Women continued to wear pillbox hats long after Jackie's time in the White House, and designers often cited her as their inspiration. The hat's popularity showed how one small detail, chosen with care and intention, could make a lasting impact. Jackie proved that true style isn't about following trends. It's about creating something timeless. One of the most poignant moments in the history of Jackie's pillbox hat came on November 22, 1963, the day President Kennedy was assassinated. Jackie was wearing a pink suit with a matching pink pillbox hat as she accompanied her husband on a visit to Dallas, Texas. The hat, like many of her outfits, was carefully chosen for the occasion. It was bright, cheerful, and symbolic of hope. After the tragic events of that day, the pink suit and hat became symbols of Jackie's strength and grace in the face of unimaginable loss. The world would never forget the image of Jackie in that pink ensemble, standing as a figure of resilience and dignity. Jackie's relationship with the pillbox hat didn't end there. Even after her time as First Lady, the hat remained a part of her story. It appeared in countless photographs and documentaries, serving as a reminder of her influence on fashion and culture. For Jackie, the pillbox hat was never just a trend. It was a reflection of her unique ability to balance simplicity with sophistication. The power of Jackie's pillbox hat lies in its simplicity. It wasn't flashy or complicated, but it made a statement. It showed that small details could have a big impact, and that elegance was about more than just appearance. It was about attitude, confidence, and intention. Jackie used her pillbox hats to create a look that was both modern and timeless, inspiring women around the world to embrace their own sense of style. Jackie Kennedy's pillbox hat remains one of the most iconic symbols of her legacy. It's a reminder of her ability to take something simple and turn it into something extraordinary. Through her choices, Jackie showed the world that true elegance is timeless and that even the smallest details can leave a lasting impression. Her pillbox hat was more than an accessory. It was a reflection of the woman who wore it, a symbol of grace, strength, and enduring style. Chapter 7. The Pink Suit, A Day of Sadness. November 22, 1963, was a day that began with bright sunshine and warm smiles, but it ended in darkness and sorrow. On that fateful day, Jackie Kennedy wore a pink suit, one of the most famous outfits in history. The suit, made of bright pink wool with navy blue trim, was elegant and cheerful. Jackie had chosen it carefully, knowing that her appearance always mattered. She wanted to look approachable, vibrant, and full of hope as she and President John F. Kennedy traveled to Dallas, Texas for a political trip. The pink suit would soon become a heartbreaking symbol of love, loss, and resilience. Jackie was by John's side as they arrived in Dallas. The city was alive with excitement. Crowds gathered along the streets, cheering as the motorcade passed by. Jackie, sitting beside her husband in the open-top car, waved to the people with her usual grace. Her pink suit and matching pillbox hat stood out against the blue sky, making her easy to spot in the crowd. She looked every bit the First Lady, poised, elegant, and supportive. But underneath her calm exterior, Jackie was also a woman deeply in love with her husband and committed to his vision for the country. The motorcade moved through Dealey Plaza, and for a brief moment, everything seemed perfect. Jackie leaned toward John, sharing a quiet word. The crowd's cheers filled the air, and the sun shone down on them. Then, in an instant, everything changed. Shots rang out, loud, sharp, and terrifying. The sound echoed through the plaza, and chaos erupted. Jackie didn't fully understand what had happened at first. She turned toward her husband and saw him slump forward. Blood stained his shirt, and his head fell to one side. "Oh no! No!" Jackie cried, her voice filled with shock and despair. She reached for him, her hands trembling as Secret Service agents rushed to protect them. Time seemed to slow down, and Jackie's world shattered in an instant. The motorcade sped to Parkland Memorial Hospital, but deep down, Jackie already knew the truth. Her husband, the man she had loved and supported through countless challenges, was gone. Doctors tried to save him, but there was nothing they could do. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, had been assassinated. Jackie refused to leave her husband's side. She stayed in the hospital room, holding his hand, her pink suit now stained with his blood. She didn't care about appearances or propriety in that moment. Her only thought was to be there for John. Her strength and devotion in the face of unimaginable grief were both heartbreaking and inspiring. She later said, "I want them to see what they have done to Jack," a statement that showed her determination to honor his memory and his legacy. When Jackie left the hospital, she still wore the pink suit. She boarded Air Force One, where Vice President Lyndon B. Johnson was sworn in as the new president. Jackie stood beside him, her face pale but composed, as photographers captured the moment. Her pink suit with its dark stains told a story that words could not. It was a story of tragedy, love, and an unbreakable bond. Jackie's courage in that moment moved the nation. The pink suit became an unforgettable symbol of that tragic day. It represented Jackie's love for her husband and her strength in the face of loss. The image of her standing by Lyndon Johnson, wearing the blood-stained suit, burned itself into the memories of millions. It was a reminder of the fragility of life and the courage it takes to carry on after losing someone you love. Jackie's choice to keep wearing the suit was deliberate. She could have changed into something clean and fresh, but she didn't. By staying in the suit, she made a powerful statement. She wanted the world to see the reality of what had happened, to understand the depth of the loss. Jackie's decision wasn't about drawing attention to herself. It was about honoring John and showing solidarity with the grief of a nation. After that day, the pink suit was never worn again. It was carefully preserved, a silent witness to history. Today, it remains locked away in the National Archives, a piece of clothing that holds more meaning than anyone could have imagined when Jackie first put it on. The suit is not just a fashion item. It is a symbol of Jackie's grace, strength, and unwavering love for her husband. In the days following John's death, Jackie faced her grief with quiet dignity. She planned her husband's funeral, ensuring that it reflected his legacy and his vision for America. Jackie drew inspiration from history, modeling the funeral after Abraham Lincoln's and creating a ceremony that was both solemn and powerful. She walked behind John's casket, holding the hands of her children, Caroline and John Jr., as the world watched in silence. Jackie's composure during this time inspired millions, showing them that even in the darkest moments, strength and grace are possible. The pink suit, though never worn again, remained in the hearts of those who remembered that day. It became a symbol of Jackie's courage and her determination to honor John's memory. The image of her in that suit, standing tall, even as her world crumbled around her, showed the depth of her love and the strength of her character. Jackie's ability to turn her personal tragedy into a source of inspiration for others is one of the reasons she remains such an iconic figure. Jackie Kennedy's pink suit is more than just a part of history. It is a reminder of the human spirit's ability to endure, even in the face of unimaginable pain. It tells a story of love, loss, and resilience, and it continues to inspire those who reflect on Jackie's life. Through her grace and strength, Jackie showed the world that even in the darkest times, it is possible to carry on with dignity and purpose. That tragic day in November changed Jackie's life forever, but it also revealed the extraordinary woman she was. Her pink suit, once a symbol of joy and elegance, became a testament to her resilience and her deep love for John. It is a reminder of the strength it takes to face heartbreak and to continue moving forward even when the world seems to stop. Jackie's story is one of beauty, courage, and the enduring power of love. Chapter 8. Jackie's World Travels. After her time in the White House, Jackie Kennedy began a new chapter of her life, one filled with exploration, culture, and a deep desire to experience the beauty of the world. Jackie had always loved travel. Even as a young girl, she dreamed of visiting faraway places, and as First Lady, she had the opportunity to represent America abroad. But now, she traveled not as the wife of a president, but as Jackie, a woman of elegance, curiosity, and grace. Jackie's journeys took her to some of the most breathtaking places on Earth. In Paris, she walked along the Seine, her style blending perfectly with the city's charm. She visited the Louvre, admiring the masterpieces she had studied as a student. Jackie loved French culture. It was where she had spent a year as a young woman, immersing herself in the language and way of life. When she stepped into the streets of Paris, she wore outfits inspired by the French designers she admired, Givenchy, Chanel, and Dior. Her clothes reflected the city's timeless elegance, and Parisians adored her. In Rome, Jackie brought her unique sense of style to the Eternal City. She strolled through ancient ruins, her outfits a mix of simplicity and sophistication. Jackie had a way of dressing that always felt appropriate for her surroundings. In Italy, she chose flowing dresses that moved gracefully as she walked. She wore scarves that framed her face, giving her a sense of mystery. Everywhere she went, people stopped to watch her. Jackie wasn't just a tourist. She was a global icon, carrying the beauty of American elegance with her. One of Jackie's most unforgettable trips was to India. She arrived in 1962 during her time as First Lady, but her love for the country stayed with her long after. India's vibrant colors and rich traditions fascinated Jackie. She embraced the culture, wearing saris and dresses inspired by Indian patterns. She visited the Taj Mahal, standing in awe of its beauty and history. The photographs of Jackie in India became famous, showing her feeding elephants, meeting local children, and walking through gardens with a quiet smile. She connected with the people, not just through her words, but through her warmth and openness. India left a lasting impression on Jackie, and she often spoke about how much she admired its culture. Jackie's travels weren't just about fashion, they were about building connections. She understood that her appearance could send a message of respect and admiration for the countries she visited. When she traveled to Greece, she wore flowing white dresses that mirrored the ancient statues she had seen in museums. In Morocco, she chose caftans that reflected the local traditions. Jackie's ability to adapt her style to each place she visited made her a true global fashion ambassador. She didn't simply wear clothes, she wore stories, honoring the people and cultures she encountered. But Jackie's life as a traveler wasn't always glamorous. Behind the stunning photographs and the beautiful outfits were moments of personal struggle. After the assassination of her husband, Jackie had to rebuild her life. Traveling became a way for her to heal. It allowed her to step away from the pain and loss she had experienced and to find inspiration in the world around her. Each journey was a chance to discover something new, to connect with people, and to remember that life still held beauty and wonder. Jackie's love for travel also influenced her children, Caroline and John Jr. She believed in the importance of exposing them to different cultures and ideas. Together, they visited Europe and explored the art, history, and traditions of each country. Jackie wanted her children to grow up with an appreciation for the world's diversity, and she made sure that their travels were both educational and enriching. Caroline and John Jr. would later speak about how much they learned from their mother's adventurous spirit and her ability to find joy in every experience. As Jackie traveled, she became a symbol of grace and elegance wherever she went. People often compared her to royalty, but Jackie remained down to earth. She was polite, curious, and genuinely interested in the places and people she encountered. Her ability to connect with others wasn't just about her style, it was about her heart. Jackie had a warmth that made people feel special, whether they were presidents or school children. One of Jackie's most iconic moments came when she visited Cambodia in the mid-1960s. The country's stunning temples and lush landscapes took her breath away. She toured Angkor Wat, walking among the ancient ruins with a sense of reverence. Jackie wore simple, elegant clothing that didn't distract from the beauty of the surroundings. Her visit to Cambodia was quiet and reflective, but it left a lasting impression. She later described the experience as one of the most meaningful of her life. Throughout her travels, Jackie's fashion evolved, but her core style remained the same. She favored clean lines, tailored pieces, and accessories that added a touch of personality. Her sunglasses, scarves, and bold jewelry became part of her signature look. Jackie's ability to adapt her wardrobe to different settings was a reflection of her creativity and her respect for the culture she visited. She wasn't just dressing for herself. She was dressing to honor the places and people she encountered. Jackie's journeys around the world weren't just about personal exploration. They also shaped her legacy. She showed that fashion could be a bridge between cultures, a way to connect and communicate without words. Her travels inspired women everywhere to embrace elegance, not just in their appearance, but in their actions. Jackie's ability to find beauty in every corner of the world was a reminder that style isn't just about clothes. It's about how you see the world. Even as she grew older, Jackie's love for travel never faded. She continued to explore, often seeking out places that were rich in history and culture. Her journeys became quieter and more private, but they remained an essential part of her life. Jackie's ability to find inspiration in the world around her was one of her greatest gifts. She showed that every place has something to teach us, and every journey is an opportunity to grow. Jackie Kennedy's world travels were more than just trips. They were a reflection of her spirit. She carried her elegance and curiosity wherever she went, leaving a legacy that continues to inspire. Jackie's story is one of exploration, connection, and the enduring power of beauty. Through her journeys, she showed the world that style is more than what you wear. It's how you see, how you connect, and how you live. Chapter 9. The Transformation of Jackie O. In 1968, Jackie Kennedy's life took another unexpected turn. 5 years had passed since the assassination of her husband, John F. Kennedy, and Jackie was still trying to rebuild her life. The grief from that day in Dallas lingered, but Jackie remained resilient. She focused on her children, Caroline and John Jr., determined to protect them from the harsh glare of the public eye. But the world was watching, always curious about what Jackie would do next. Then came the news that shocked everyone. Jackie was marrying Aristotle Onassis, a wealthy Greek shipping magnate. Aristotle Onassis, known as Ari, was one of the richest and most famous men in the world. He was older than Jackie and lived a life of luxury, surrounded by yachts, private islands, and glamorous parties. For Jackie, this marriage was about more than love. It was about safety. She once said, "If they're killing Kennedys, my children are next." Jackie believed Ari's wealth and influence could offer her and her children the protection they needed. But her decision wasn't without controversy. Many people couldn't understand why Jackie, the beloved former First Lady, would marry a man so different from her first husband. When Jackie became Jackie Onassis, the world's image of her began to shift. She was no longer the grieving widow or the elegant First Lady. Instead, she became Jackie O, a mysterious figure whose life seemed filled with intrigue and glamour. Her style changed, too. Gone were the pillbox hats and tailored suits of her White House years. Instead, Jackie embraced a new look, one that was bold, modern, and carefree. Jackie's signature accessory during this time was her oversized sunglasses. They were enormous, covering half of her face, and they quickly became her trademark. The sunglasses weren't just a fashion statement. They were a shield. They allowed Jackie to maintain her privacy in a world that was always watching her. People couldn't look directly into her eyes, and that gave her a sense of control. Her sunglasses became a symbol of her transformation, a way of saying, "I'm still here, but I'm on my own terms." Scarves also became an essential part of Jackie's look. She tied them elegantly around her head, often pairing them with loose, flowing dresses. The scarves gave her a sense of ease and sophistication, as though she had just stepped off a yacht in the Mediterranean. Jackie's wardrobe during this time was less structured than before, reflecting her desire for freedom and simplicity. She wore breezy tunics, wide-legged pants, and sandals, embracing a style that felt effortless, yet undeniably chic. The press couldn't get enough of Jackie O. Photographers followed her everywhere, hoping to capture a glimpse of her glamorous new life. She was often seen on Aries' yacht, relaxing on the Greek island of Scorpios, or strolling through the streets of Paris. Jackie's ability to look flawless in any setting fascinated people. Whether she was wearing a simple white shirt or an evening gown, she exuded an air of confidence that made her seem untouchable. But behind the glamour, Jackie faced challenges in her marriage to Onassis. Ari's world was very different from the one Jackie had known. He was used to being in control, and his lifestyle often clashed with Jackie's values. There were rumors of tension between them, and some said that Ari struggled to understand Jackie's need for independence. Despite the difficulties, Jackie remained poised, never letting the world see any cracks in her facade. She had learned how to navigate difficult situations with grace, a skill that had served her well throughout her life. During her years as Jackie O, Jackie continued to travel and explore the world. She visited places like Morocco, Egypt, and Italy, always immersing herself in the culture and history of each destination. Her curiosity and love for art remained strong, and she often spent hours wandering through museums and galleries. Jackie's travels weren't just about leisure. They were about learning and growing. She saw the world as a classroom, and every trip was an opportunity to discover something new. Jackie's transformation into Jackie O also showed her resilience. She had endured unimaginable tragedy, but she found a way to move forward. Her ability to adapt and reinvent herself was remarkable. Jackie showed the world that it was possible to start over, even after the most devastating losses. She wasn't defined by her past. She was always looking ahead, finding new ways to live and thrive. One of Jackie's most admirable qualities during this time was her dedication to her children. Despite the glamour of her new life, she remained a devoted mother. She worked hard to ensure that Caroline and John Jr. had as normal a childhood as possible, shielding them from the intense media attention that followed her. Jackie's love for her children was unwavering, and she often said that being a mother was her most important role. In 1975, Jackie's marriage to Aristotle Onassis came to an end when he passed away. His death marked another turning point in Jackie's life. Once again, she was faced with the challenge of starting over. But Jackie didn't retreat. She embraced the next chapter with strength and determination. She returned to New York City and began a career as a book editor, a role that allowed her to channel her love for literature and creativity. Jackie's ability to reinvent herself yet again was a testament to her resilience and intelligence. The transformation of Jackie O was about more than just fashion or marriage. It was about survival. Jackie showed the world that change is a natural part of life, and that it's possible to grow and evolve even after experiencing great loss. Her oversized sunglasses, chic scarves, and effortless style became symbols of her journey, a journey marked by courage, grace, and a refusal to be defined by the past. Jackie Kennedy Onassis remains an icon of strength and elegance. Her ability to adapt to life's challenges, to reinvent herself while staying true to her values, is a source of inspiration for millions. Jackie O was more than a name. It was a statement of resilience, a reminder that life is full of transformations and that each one brings new opportunities to shine. Chapter 10. A Life Full of Inspiration. Jackie Kennedy. Onassis lived a life full of beauty, curiosity, and inspiration. While the world admired her for her fashion and elegance, Jackie's passions went far beyond clothing. She had a deep love for art, history, and books, interests that shaped her identity and guided her through every chapter of her extraordinary life. Jackie believed that creativity and knowledge were essential, and she used her talents to leave a lasting legacy. From a young age, Jackie showed an appreciation for art and literature. She loved to read, often losing herself in the pages of novels and poetry. Books became her refuge, a way to explore new ideas and worlds. Her education reflected her intellectual curiosity. At Vassar College, she studied literature, and during her time in Paris, she immersed herself in art and culture. Jackie's experiences as a student gave her a lifelong appreciation for creativity and learning. As First Lady, Jackie brought her love for art and history to the White House. She was passionate about making the presidential home a place of beauty and significance. Jackie launched a major restoration project, determined to fill the White House with furniture, paintings, and artifacts that reflected America's history. She believed that the White House wasn't just a home. It was a symbol of the nation's heritage. Jackie's dedication paid off, and her efforts transformed the White House into a cultural treasure. Jackie's love for art also extended to her role as a global ambassador. During her travels, she embraced the culture and traditions of each country she visited. She connected with artists, musicians, and writers, always eager to learn and share ideas. Jackie's ability to bridge cultures through art and diplomacy left a lasting impression on the world. People admired her, not only for her elegance, but also for her intelligence and curiosity. After the tragedies in her life, Jackie found solace in her love for literature. In the 1970s, she began a new chapter in her career, working as an editor in New York City. Many people were surprised by her decision to take a job, but for Jackie, it was a natural step. Editing allowed her to combine her passion for books with her desire to create something meaningful. She didn't want to be seen as just a symbol of the past. She wanted to contribute to the world in a tangible way. Jackie worked for Viking Press and later for Doubleday, two major publishing companies. As an editor, she was responsible for helping authors shape their stories and bring their ideas to life. Jackie wasn't interested in using her fame to publish bestsellers. She focused on projects that were creative, thoughtful, and inspiring. She worked on books about history, art, and children's literature, always choosing topics that reflected her interests and values. Her colleagues admired her dedication and attention to detail. Jackie approached her work with the same grace and intelligence that had defined her public life. She spent hours reading manuscripts, offering suggestions, and working closely with authors to make their books the best they could be. Jackie's love for storytelling shone through in everything she did. She believed in the power of words to inspire and educate, and she worked tirelessly to bring meaningful stories to the world. One of Jackie's most notable achievements as an editor was her work on books about ancient history and culture. She collaborated on projects that explored the beauty of ancient Egypt, the architecture of Greece, and the art of the Renaissance. Jackie's ability to combine her love for history with her creative vision made these books both educational and visually stunning. Her contributions weren't just behind the scenes. Her influence shaped the way readers experienced the stories. Jackie's dedication to her work as an editor showed her resilience and determination. Despite the challenges she had faced in her personal life, she found a way to reinvent herself and pursue her passions. Her career in publishing wasn't about fame or fortune. It was about making a difference. Jackie showed that it's never too late to follow your dreams, and her journey inspired countless others to do the same. Even in her private life, Jackie's love for art and culture remained a constant. She often visited museums and attended exhibitions, finding joy in discovering new works of art. She also shared her passions with her children, taking Caroline and John Jr. to concerts, plays, and galleries. Jackie believed in the importance of exposing them to creativity and knowledge, just as her parents had done for her. Jackie's life was not without challenges. She faced loss, public scrutiny, and the pressure of being in the spotlight. But through it all, she remained true to herself, using her love for art, history, and literature as a source of strength. Jackie showed that beauty wasn't just about appearance. It was about the way you lived your life, the things you created, and the impact you had on others. As Jackie grew older, she continued to inspire those around her. She embraced every stage of her life with grace, showing that reinvention and growth are possible at any age. Her ability to balance elegance with intellect made her a unique and unforgettable figure. Jackie's legacy wasn't just about her style. It was about her spirit, her curiosity, and her passion for creating a better world. Jackie Kennedy Onassis lived a life filled with inspiration. From her work as an editor to her efforts to preserve history and promote art, she left a lasting mark on the world. Her love for creativity and knowledge was a guiding force throughout her life, shaping her journey and inspiring those who knew her story. Jackie showed that true beauty comes from within, from a mind that is curious, a heart that is open, and a soul that is unafraid to dream. Jackie's life reminds us that inspiration can be found in the smallest details: a book, a painting, a conversation. She believed in the power of art and ideas to change the world, and she lived her life as proof of that belief. Jackie wasn't just a fashion icon or a public figure. She was a woman of depth, creativity, and courage. Her story continues to inspire, showing us that a life full of passion and purpose is a life well lived. Chapter 11. Her Lasting Legacy. Jackie Kennedy. Onassis left this world in 1994, but her presence remains with us even today. Her legacy continues to inspire, not only through her unforgettable style, but also through the life she led, a life filled with grace, courage, and intelligence. Jackie was more than just a fashion icon or a public figure. She was a woman who overcame great challenges and left a mark on the world that will never fade. Jackie's style is one of the most enduring aspects of her legacy. Decades after she first stepped into the public eye, her outfits remain a source of inspiration. Designers around the world still look to Jackie's timeless elegance for ideas. The clean lines of her dresses, the bold colors of her suits, and the simplicity of her accessories continue to influence fashion. Jackie had a way of making everything she wore look effortlessly beautiful. Her ability to combine sophistication with simplicity is what makes her style so timeless. Many of Jackie's most famous outfits are now preserved in museums, where they are admired by people from all over the world. Visitors marvel at her iconic pink suit, her chic pillbox hats, and the elegant gowns she wore during her time as First Lady. These pieces of clothing tell a story, not just of Jackie's life, but of an era. They remind us of the days when Jackie walked through the halls of the White House, traveled to foreign countries, and stood by her husband's side during pivotal moments in history. But Jackie's legacy is not just about what she wore. It's about what she stood for. Her style was a reflection of her values: intelligence, creativity, and independence. Jackie believed in the power of simplicity. She understood that elegance wasn't about being flashy or extravagant. It was about being thoughtful and confident. Her choices weren't just about looking good, they were about expressing who she was. And that's why her style still resonates with us today. Jackie's influence goes beyond fashion. She inspired people through her love for art, history, and literature. She showed the world that beauty can be found in creativity and knowledge. Her work as an editor, her efforts to preserve the White House, and her passion for promoting culture all reflect a deep commitment to making the world a more beautiful and meaningful place. Jackie believed in the importance of learning and growing, and she lived her life with a sense of curiosity and wonder. Even in her most difficult moments, Jackie showed remarkable strength. She faced personal tragedies that would have broken many people, but she found ways to carry on. Her resilience became a source of inspiration for millions. Jackie taught us that grace isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them with courage and dignity. She showed us that it's possible to move forward even after great loss, and to create a new life filled with purpose. Jackie's legacy is also deeply connected to her role as a mother. She was devoted to her children, Caroline and John Jr., and she worked hard to ensure that they grew up with a sense of normalcy and values. Jackie believed in raising her children to be kind, curious, and strong. Her influence on them was profound, and they both went on to lead meaningful lives, carrying forward the lessons their mother had taught them. One of the reasons Jackie's legacy endures is that she was a symbol of hope and possibility. She represented the idea that elegance and intelligence could coexist, that beauty could be both external and internal. Jackie's life was a reminder that it's not just what you do, but how you do it, that matters. Her ability to combine style with substance made her a role model for generations of women. Jackie's story is one of reinvention. She wasn't defined by any single chapter of her life. From her early days as a young girl in New York, to her time as First Lady, to her years as Jackie O, and finally to her career as an editor, Jackie embraced every stage of her journey with grace and determination. She showed us that it's never too late to start over, to find new passions, and to create a meaningful life. Today, Jackie's influence can be seen in so many ways. Her style is celebrated in fashion collections, her contributions to the arts are remembered in museums, and her example of resilience continues to inspire. But perhaps her greatest legacy is the way she made people feel. Jackie had a way of connecting with others, of making them feel special and valued. Whether she was hosting a dinner at the White House or editing a book, Jackie brought her full attention and care to everything she did. That sense of grace and thoughtfulness is what truly set her apart. Jackie's life reminds us of the power of elegance, not just in how we dress, but in how we live. She showed us that elegance is about being confident, curious, and kind. It's about finding beauty in the world and sharing it with others. Jackie's ability to inspire us comes from her authenticity. She wasn't perfect, but she was real, and she faced life with courage and grace. As we look back on Jackie's legacy, we see a woman who lived a full and meaningful life. She left behind a world that was richer and more beautiful because of her. Jackie's story is a reminder that we all have the ability to make a difference, to find inspiration in the everyday, and to create a life that reflects our values. Her timeless elegance continues to teach us that true beauty comes from within. Chapter 12. What makes a style? Icon. Jackie Kennedy. Onassis is remembered as one of the most iconic women of the 20th century. Her name immediately brings to mind images of elegance, poise, and timeless style. But Jackie's status as a style icon was about much more than the clothes she wore. It was about the way she lived her life, with confidence, grace, and kindness. Jackie taught the world that true style comes from within, and her incredible journey is one that continues to inspire us today. Jackie's life was filled with beauty, but it was also marked by challenges. She faced the public eye at a young age, becoming First Lady at just 31 years old. She handled this enormous responsibility with remarkable composure, using her role to bring art, culture, and history into the spotlight. From restoring the White House to promoting the arts, Jackie's contributions went far beyond her outward appearance. She showed that style wasn't just about what you wore, it was about what you stood for. What made Jackie a style icon wasn't her wardrobe alone, though it was unforgettable. It was her ability to wear her clothes with confidence and intention. Jackie's outfits reflected who she was: intelligent, creative, and bold. She loved clean lines and simple silhouettes, preferring timeless designs over fleeting trends. Her look was modern, but never flashy, elegant, but always approachable. Whether she was wearing a tailored suit or a casual scarf, Jackie carried herself with a sense of assurance that made everything she wore look extraordinary. Jackie's confidence didn't come from her clothes, it came from within. She had a strong sense of self, shaped by her love for art, history, and literature. From her early days as a student in Paris to her career as an editor in New York, Jackie was always curious and eager to learn. Her intellect and creativity gave her a unique perspective, and she brought that depth to every aspect of her life, including her style. Jackie's wardrobe wasn't just a collection of beautiful outfits. It was an expression of her personality. One of the most remarkable things about Jackie was her grace. She faced extraordinary pressure as a public figure, yet she always seemed calm and composed. Even in moments of great personal tragedy, Jackie carried herself with dignity. When President John F. Kennedy was assassinated, the world watched as Jackie stood strong in the face of unimaginable loss. Her ability to remain poised during such a heartbreaking time inspired millions. Jackie's grace wasn't about pretending everything was perfect. It was about showing courage and strength, even when life was difficult. Jackie's kindness also played a key role in making her a style icon. She had a way of making people feel seen and valued, whether she was hosting a state dinner or chatting with a child. Her warmth and thoughtfulness were evident in everything she did. Jackie believed in using her position to make a difference, and she worked tirelessly to promote causes she cared about, from education to historic preservation. Her kindness was a reminder that true elegance isn't just about how you look, it's about how you treat others. Throughout her life, Jackie faced many challenges, but she always found ways to adapt and grow. After the deaths of both John F. Kennedy and her second husband, Aristotle Onassis, Jackie reinvented herself. She began a career as a book editor, using her love for literature to bring meaningful stories to the world. Jackie's ability to start over, to find new purpose after loss, was one of her most inspiring qualities. She showed that style isn't just about clothes, it's about resilience and the ability to create a life filled with beauty and meaning. Jackie's story is a reminder that being a style icon isn't about being perfect. It's about being authentic. She wasn't afraid to take risks, to try new things, or to be herself. Jackie's sense of style evolved over the years, but it always reflected who she was at that moment. From her chic pillbox hats as First Lady to her oversized sunglasses as Jackie O, her fashion choices told a story of a woman who was constantly growing and changing. What can we learn from Jackie's story? First, we learn the importance of confidence. Jackie believed in herself, and that belief allowed her to shine in any situation. Second, we learn the power of grace. Jackie showed us that even in difficult times, we can carry ourselves with dignity and strength. Third, we learn the value of kindness. Jackie's warmth and thoughtfulness left a lasting impression on everyone she met. But perhaps the greatest lesson Jackie taught us is that style is about more than clothes. It's about how you live your life, how you face challenges, how you treat others, and how you express your true self. Jackie's life was a masterpiece of elegance and meaning, and her legacy continues to inspire us to this day. Even now, decades after her death, Jackie Kennedy Onassis remains a symbol of timeless style. Her influence can be seen in the world of fashion, where designers still look to her for inspiration. Her contributions to art, history, and culture are celebrated in museums and books. But most importantly, Jackie's story lives on in the hearts of those who admire her. She showed us that true beauty isn't just about appearance, it's about character, courage, and the willingness to make the world a better place. Jackie's journey was extraordinary, but it also contained lessons that anyone can apply to their own life. She taught us to be curious, to embrace change, and to find joy in the small details. She showed us that style isn't about following trends. It's about being true to yourself. And she reminded us that even in the face of loss, we can find the strength to move forward and create something beautiful. Jackie Kennedy Onassis will always be remembered as a style icon, but her legacy is so much more than that. She was a woman of intelligence, creativity, and kindness, who used her gifts to leave a lasting impact on the world. Her story continues to inspire, showing us that elegance isn't just about what you wear. It's about who you are.